Yo, 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 welcome to the 1804 Show, Chapter 2. I'm your host, Dollar Will, and this is episode 684. Special guest coming to the show again, my big bro.
I'm gonna put my.
Hey, what up, bro? How's it
There
going?
we go. That's the one I like. What's up?
Hey, man, uh, it's very good to see you again, man.
Good
Finally,
to
we
see
get,
you, man. Let
yeah,
me just figure this. Get this on tripod here. I haven't used this tripod. I think the last time I used this tripod was when I spoke to you.
hey, man, I feel special, man, just to
Hmm.
hear you say that.
Yeah, I think the last one we did was Instagram too, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I usually
yeah.
do them on YouTube.
Yeah, I haven't tried that yet, but I'm probably gonna do that since you said that. I'm gonna consider
Yeah,
that.
they're fun on YouTube. They're well. I mean, because you can. I guess on Instagram you can edit afterward, but like YouTube you can put in clips afterwards and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 man. I'm gonna look into that, man. But how you been, bro? It's been like hellas. How you been?
I've been good, man. I still have this huge project that I've filmed. It's taken me a year and a half, and now I think I'm going back to do it again, work on more of it. It's done, but I want more of it. And that's the one that when you see it, I want to come back on and talk about it because I think you'll have a particular interest in this talk. It's gonna be like an hour and 20 minutes at least.
Oh my!
Yeah,
I
it's long.
mean,
Well, maybe I'll get it down to like 50 minutes, but it's a lot. It's a heavy subject, but yeah. So hey, Social Rec, my old buddy Social Rec's on.
oh, that's good, man. Everybody, tuning in, man, because I really wanted to go deep because I know that you and we have some very nice, interesting conversations and stuff
Hmm.
like that. So I was just at work, just thinking about how I was going to conduct this and really just pick your brain on this one because I just wanted to just allow the people to really get to know you some more, rather than they already know, but
I got a phone call. Let me just text. Uh,
oh you
it's
oh you fine, man. Go ahead.
yeah. Let me just text. Let me just text my buddy here. Let him know because he needs to talk to me. I don't know if I go. I should go through from this phone too. I'm live. Oh. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. It's cool. Man, I guess it's crazy. Anyway, go on. Well, I missed what you said.
No, I was just saying that I wanted to just pick your brain this time because I know we have a whole lot of interesting conversations in the past
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. So I really wanted to just talk about your rise and stuff like that because everybody don't get the opportunity to see someone rise to fame,
Well, I
and
wouldn't say fame, but okay. Yeah. No, definitely not fame.
yeah. So how many subscribers you have now on YouTube?
Uh, uh, I'd have to look. I know about 263,551.
Oh my, congratulations.
Let's run those numbers up to 5 That's right. Come on. I'm lucky. I get about I average 3,000 subs a month is what YouTube tells me, and I really want to double that or triple that, but it's for me it's more about always it's the views on each video. I never look at the subscriber count really, like you just asked me. I don't know,
Hmm.
but I look at the views per video, and I'm like, okay, or that one did well. And there's some that I do that I know. You didn't even ask me a question. I'm just talking. But
Oh, it's all
there's some
good.
there's some that I know. Like I expected James Brown, that one I just put up. I expected that to do well because I thought it would be like a slow burn, but it went up pretty high right away because nobody. has covered his life in depth, like in those in like his ex-wife and his father's grave and the house where he grew up. So I was expecting that one and the grave, which is off limits. But yeah, but there's some that I do that I'm just like, why is nobody watching that one? But
Oh yeah, it happens, man.
yeah,
And it's funny that you say James Brown because I covered the arrest, and the arrest was I would say it was hilarious because it was just more like a freak accident,
you
like
talking about
no
the,
regular.
the
Yeah,
LA arrests?
I was talking about when he drove over the state
Oh yeah, that
lines.
wasn't in LA. That was down south. Yeah,
Yeah, and he survived all those bullets.
man, that's the one where he did the interview after the famous interview on CNN, right?
Yeah,
And he's singing and he's just out of his
yeah.
mind. I mean, like today, like I mean, we've got other like star. I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of who even compare. Like maybe the guys from Oasis, even that's 20 years ago. But like a rock star, like who lives the life and goes and is unapologetic about it and goes on. Like I love James Brown, man. That interview is I watch it all the time.
Oh yeah, me too, man. I grew up on James Brown from my grandparents and stuff. Because as a kid, I was like, man, will they turn this shit off? But then when you get older, you really begin to
Mm-hmm.
have lyrics resonate with you,
Of
and
course.
just such a musical genius, and just despite just the personal stuff, and I tell everybody like, we all have things that we battle with personally and stuff like that. So I don't really try to judge anybody, man, because you never know someone's origin story. So that's why I just
I
be open
agree.
minded
Yeah.
to certain
Yeah.
things. But yeah,
I mean, he had a traumatizing childhood. Even though he was happy, that's not a normal childhood to be growing up in a brothel and you know being around drugs and alcohol like that and running into the ravine behind the house where I went to. I cut that part. I should have put that part in the little
hmm
river behind his house. That's where he used to hide in the water from cops and stuff. It's like at 12 years old and like dancing on the street, like dancing on the street for nickels.
hmm
Like that's crazy, you know?
yeah. And I always say him and Richard Pryor childhoods was quite similar.
They are. That's true. They are. I never thought about that. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I did a story on Richard Pryor too, and I just grew to love people, man, 'cause especially like when like their childhoods and their upbringing, it just give you a newfound respect for them because they stopped at nothing to accomplish their dreams.
Mhm.
Even though it was hell in the midst of everything, but they got there. And I always just try to tell everybody that you in charge of your own destiny,
Right.
regardless of what happened to you, and you got to hustle and stuff. And I just think that when you have it bad, it makes you like hustle more. It makes you
For sure.
more hungrier than the next person. And that's the message behind my madness with my show and my work ethic because I didn't have it so good, but I had everything that I needed, but I just didn't have it to the point of just having like a two-parent household, grew up in a hood and stuff like that, but I didn't want it to be like that. I didn't want it to partake in those type of things that I saw every day. I always wanted more for myself. Even at a young age, I said I was gonna go to college and get a degree. Even at 4 or 5 years old, I always said I was going to college. And then when I got to college, I dropped out, but I dropped out to pursue this. I dropped out because I believed in myself. But
Right.
I did win. It's just sitting down and reading all those books and doing all those papers, man. My God, it just really like drove me crazy.
Well, I mean, the reason I love talking to you because you have such a love of pop culture and love of well, not just love but knowledge of so much history.
Yeah.
Like I could see like this your podcast. If you, I think you should switch to doing on YouTube more
hmm
and get subscribers there and like Apple Podcasts. But uh, I can see you as doing your own or as part of like a panel, like a weekly thing. I could because you for like a young guy, you know a lot of you know your history and all that. And you're where are you in Flint or you're above Flint?
I'm in Buffalo. I'm in Saginaw.
Right, right. So you that's
Yeah.
what is that? 2 hours from Detroit?
Yup.
Yeah, but 2 hours from Detroit. So you're but you didn't grow up in Detroit, did
I
you?
used to live there 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was able to just grasp the entire environment. Compared to Saginaw, Detroit, it's a different place, man.
No.
It's a whole different atmosphere, but
I mean it's crazy. I love Detroit. I mean it's not what people think, you know.
no.
You know, it's not what people make. It's unbelievable. I get so much, and I love it because I get so much love from the people of Detroit. I get messages all the time saying, "Come back," and you know, the only problem with going back to Detroit, which I love, is I don't know what else to do there. I've got one project I want to do with somebody there. I'm going to do it this summer,
Hmm.
but I've been sorry, my dog went crazy. I've been everywhere all over that city, and like there's so much. Actually, there's so much I still want to do, but it's about gaining access to places. Like I've
Yeah,
covered the outside of places, but Detroit is like down by the river and all that. It's gorgeous.
yeah.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Here, let me just dog is crazy. Here. One second. But I'll give you a scoop, man. I'll tell you something. I didn't. I haven't. I haven't said. Yeah. Because you mentioned Richard Pryor. I
Hmm.
did. I did a video on him. I think a year ago, or 2 years ago, maybe. I did the house where he set himself on fire,
Yeah.
and then the house where he passed away. He doesn't have a grave. I think he was cremated and his ashes were scattered in Malibu. But I actually heard from very close family member of his, and they just said thank you for the video and thank you for showing respect with in regards to where he passed. And it was crazy talking to this person. I couldn't believe who it was I was talking to, and they said I liked your video a lot, and it was very nice. And I was like, thank God, because I remember that day. I think that house is in Brentwood, the one where he passed away, and it's so
Hmm.
quiet. And I was like, every neighbor here must know why I'm here. And there was cameras on every house, so I just kind of was very discreet. But I drove by it last time I was in LA in November, and same, just a quiet little street. And I was like, nobody gave a crap that I was there. Probably nobody even noticed. But yeah, I love Richard Pryor.
Oh yeah, me too, man. And it's just the fact, like, you bring so much awareness to things because even though like it was reported and like back in the day, it's like you bring more clarity. Like I won't say that you're biased, but you're more in tune with the people who no longer here and stuff like that. Like you be their voices for them and stuff like that.
I'm
And
I would disagree in one thing. I'm definitely biased.
okay.
I'm definitely biased in my stories when I do a story on something that I go in with an opinion and I'll state my opinion gently or whatever it is, but because I say I'm not a journalist.
Hmm.
Journalists, everybody thinks they're a journalist now, but and it's like no. You have to go to journalism school to learn ethics and to learn writing. You know what I mean? Like ethics is the main thing. So and that's missing from a lot people that call themselves citizen journalists. I'm like, yeah, no. You can't call. You can report on it, but you're not a journalist because you're showing a
Hmm.
bias. So that's why I say I'm not. Sorry, my dog's trying. You can hear them. He's squeezing his monkey here. I go into every story. I sometimes I maybe can change my mind during it, but I go in normally with I know what my opinion is. If it's a true crime or a sad story or something.
Yeah, and that one story that you did with James Byrd Jr., man.
Mm,
Oh, I don't know. It was just like I, I really was happy that you did that
me too.
because, because a whole lot of people don't know anything about it, and just the fact that that was like what 1997, 1998.
Something like that. Late '90s. Was it '93? No. Maybe it's late '90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was such a huge story when it happened, and then it's kind of one of those things. I think it's out there in the zeitgeist. People of a certain age remember, but then a lot of other people wouldn't. I know the town, Tyler, Texas,
Hmm.
definitely remembers it. It's with the people I met at his gravesite. You know, they knew exactly where I was going when I was there and what I was doing, and I talked to them for a while. So, and they're from that town. People there remember. That's a tough case. I mean, that's a horrific, horrific one.
Yeah, and I just felt it. I felt just just watching you go to the where they where his body was found and stuff like that. Like I can't digest that. You know, just
Yeah.
being a viewer, I could just feel the pressure that it was on you, just because I'm a firm believer of just like spirits and stuff like that. I don't just think that everybody's resting in peace. So I just was like, man, I know that he's really feeling something
Yeah,
while
I
making
agree
it.
with you there. I've said that a few times. Certain grave sites, I'm like, I hope they're resting in peace. But I think about that. People that suffer like that before they die in a brutally unjust way. I'm like, can they really rest in peace? Are they really resting in peace? You want to hope so. I remember I was in Louisiana. I was not Shreveport, whatever town. Maybe I was in Shreveport that day, and I was with a friend, and I had to drop them off. And I said, I gotta make it to Tyler to do Tyler or Taylor. Tyler, I think it's Tyler, Texas. I or Jasper. I
Yeah, Jasper.
Jasper. I gotta make it down. I gotta get there. And so I was filming something in the morning, in the afternoon, dropped them off, rushed to get there, and I had that. What you see on camera is basically everything I had time to do because back then, that was 4 years ago. I filmed that,
Hmm.
and I was still. It was before COVID. It was just before COVID hit and everything shut down, and I was still working another job. So I didn't have the luxury that I do now of, okay, well, I'll get a hotel tonight and wake up in the morning and do it again. I had to get that and then drive another 2 hours that night to get somewhere else to wake up, and you know what I mean. So I felt a lot of pressure to get that done. And actually, what I wanted to do with that video, I remember, is I wanted to show. I showed at the start of the street where they tied him up. You know, the things that they did to him at the beginning, where they picked him up, and then the drive all the way to the church where they find his body down that road. I wanted to film it in real time, and I wanted to show it, and I did. I filmed the whole thing from a dash cam, stopped at certain parts and showed where things happened. And then when I got back to Toronto to edit, I was like, it's good, but it was like a 9 to 10 minute drive. That really, when I watched it like back, I was like, and when I was driving too, I was like, my God, like just driving it was excruciating. Like, thinking about what happened and then watching it, I was like, my, and then what happened to him. He was dragged for that long. It was it's not a short drive.
Hmm.
It was brutal, terrifying.
Yeah, so was there like any videos that you kind of felt like would have been very controversial as far as like releasing them, or did you receive any like personal backlash from?
Some people occasionally. Okay, I mean, I've got some ones coming up. I filmed down in Georgia and South Carolina just recently, a few weeks ago, that I haven't put up yet. That some people, most most people are going to be just sad about what happened with the victims that I'm talking about.
Hmm.
But other times, I mean, I've gotten a few like here and there, a few comments. Not really that many. I mean, you know, people not yeah, actually not really. I don't even when a video gets over 100,000 views or something like that, it's mostly positive. And some people disagree with me, like about the West Memphis Three, those three boys that were murdered down in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Some people say, oh no, you're wrong about who did it. I'm like, well, okay, you have your opinion, it's based on whatever. I don't know where you're getting your people, whatever but if they're watching my channel, they know that I have pretty liberal views and I'm pretty far left. You know what I mean? Like I'm going in there. I'm not to. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, if they're watching, I think they would it would fall on deaf ears if they were to say something to me. I'd be like, well, yeah, that's what like that's what I believe. There's a couple of topics people talked to me about doing videos on in LA, and I was like, I don't know. It's right now what's going on in your country, in the States is so tough, with both sides, and so there's a lot of anger. So
Yeah.
some things I'm just like, I'll leave that alone. But I'm not afraid. I'm not really afraid to cover any topics. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't know if I want to deal with.
Oh, I agree. It's like that with me, even when I do my history segments and stuff, because I try not to sugarcoat anything. I really put myself in like the person at hand that I'm speaking about and stuff. So just knowing that I did a good job and just told the beginning and to the end, and without feeling like I'm trying to protect everybody's subconscious and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, it's just all about just making sure that we do each video
Right,
justice and stuff like that. Because I can't sleep at night knowing that I wasn't myself and that I didn't deliver
right.
to my best of my abilities and stuff like that. And I just enjoy what I do. And I've been working on this NWA thing, man, this documentary that I'm working on, just trying to
Oh,
get
nice.
a lot of footage and try to get a lot of um, just rare photos and rare scene things and stuff like that, and just really just try to just tell it from a different point of view, not just as a fan, but just also just do like from a history standpoint, because I'm always been like a big fan of music because my mother and my brother was straight hip hop heads. Just imagine growing up in a household where your mother was West Coast and your brother was East Coast.
Oh,
So it was just always an
it was
argument.
such
It
a
was
it was such a thing back in the '90s to be like you really had to choose a side. It was crazy. I remember growing up and I was just like, I'm West Coast. I'm West Coast. I'm like, I'd never been to the West Coast. How am I West Coast? And I live on the East Coast, but I love the West Coast sound. And then I was like, aside from the Beastie Boys and like Biz Markie, LL, I was like, no Diddy, no Biggie, all that. And then I started to like their music. Of course, I just mentioned somebody's name who I probably shouldn't have. But again, in the '90s, I didn't like Diddy's music. I can't listen to him
yeah,
anymore. But yeah, it
yeah.
was a big thing to be West Coast or East Coast for sure.
Oh yeah. And my brother was always like listening to a whole lot of Jake the Flake, because he had a lot of records, man, and that's why I'm so musically inclined myself, just from listening to their records and just watching their arguments and stuff, and I just miss those days where like you could just turn on the TV, you actually get videos on MTV, VH1,
Well, of
BET,
course, yeah.
and stuff. I miss those days, man,
Well,
and now.
I remember when I was a kid in the '80s, again, listening, like I loved Run DMC,
Mhm.
and I loved the Beastie Boys' first album. I was young, I loved the sound of it. But it was really when Mama Said Knock You Out by LL came out. That was when I was like, this is music for me. This is that album. There's not one song I can't sing word for word, rap word for word is Mama Said Knock You Out. That is just a classic. And LL became my favorite rapper for so long. He's still in top three for sure.
Oh yeah, mine too. And it's just really be crazy because like when you seeing these lists and he's not top five, top 10, I'll be like, what is wrong with y'all?
I know. I don't. He's never in the conversation. I've never quite understood why. I mean, he's taken a long time off. Like, he kind of, he's doing that TV show and then he was doing movies. But that's just a lateral move to make. To get your face out there, and he's a good actor. But he didn't really release as many albums as he did in the '90s and stuff. But no, I mean, people that weren't around, I guess or younger, they can't imagine the impact that album had. Mama Said Knock You Out. I remember being at a at a party. At a party with it was like a kids party, but I don't think there was alcohol. We were playing music. There was like had to be 40 kids in this room, and I forget what we were playing. It was just at a house not too far from here, my friend Nell's house at the time, and I said, I want to play LL. I'm gonna put on. I put on Mama Said Knock You Out. The room just erupted. It was like putting on. I mean, it was like putting on Mama Said Knock You Out. Everybody was up and dancing to it. It was crazy.
Oh yeah, just certain songs just take you back, man. Because my generation was the No Limit and Cash Money days, so I can still remember Master P, Make You Say Oh,
Oh
and,
yeah,
and
I remember
Juvenile
that too.
and stuff.
I
I remember
remember.
all of
Yeah, I mean, I was
that.
I was working in the record store when Master P came out. All of a sudden, not just came out, all of a sudden was everywhere. There was like an
Yeah.
album. There was like an album a week, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" And we could, and unfortunately, we couldn't play it at the record store because they didn't give us any what do you call it? You know the when they bleep out the bad words.
Oh,
They
the censorship.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, because we played clean copies mostly of everything at the record store, right? It was in a mall, but Master P they didn't give us them, and they were all in the weird packaging, like because he did it all himself, right? I mean, that guy was a genius. It was all in the weird packaging. We had to get these extra different size things to put the CDs in, and they were selling all the time, like all the time. Master P, it was crazy. Oh, by the way, if you're doing the NWA documentary, we're working on one. Did you see my video I did like 6 years ago at the NWA studio?
No, I'm gonna check that out.
Check it out.
I'll make sure I check that out.
Check it out. I was down in it's in Torrance, the
Hmm.
studio where they record straight out of Compton, and I went outside and I was doing. I think I was showing. It was maybe before because I did the locations for the movie, but I think it was It was definitely before the movie came out. I was showing stuff that happened outside the studio, stuff that I knew
Hmm.
would happen, and then I walked back. Then I was like, okay, I'm done. I just got outside, and then I stood in the middle of the street. There's like an island in the middle of the street. I remember standing there, and this guy, old dude, was yelling at me, and I was like, what's he yelling at? And like, what am I? And he goes, you like NWA? I could find Fairway Shannon. I was like, yeah. And he walked in and he goes, you filming that building? You know what happened in there? I was like, yeah, straight out of Compton, man. Like that's where they recorded. He goes, I own the building. You want to come in and see the studio? And I was like, no. So I went in and I showed the studio where they recorded straight out of Compton, which is pretty cool.
And that's dope, man. And I just could imagine it just be in that situation because I was just like, man, what you mean? Like, of course, hell yeah, I want to come in.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, go.
yeah. There's some guys. There was the guys there recording some album. I can't remember now. Of course, a very tiny studio, and just like that's where that huge album, just in this tiny little room, was recorded. And just thinking about Dre and and Easy and all that, Ice Cube sitting around there, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's just the greatest things that was ever created happen in a small room. A lot of
Yeah,
people don't know that,
yeah.
and I don't know if I got the chance to tell you, but I met Chris Casamassa, who plays Scorpion in Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, really? Where'd you meet him?
Well, we did a Zoom call interview and stuff. But man, when I tell you that day I was stoked,
I
bro.
bet.
Like just because at first I didn't know whether if I was talking to the real person or not. And the day of the interview, I see the red dragon symbol, and I was just like, uh, 9 times out of 10,
Right. Right.
it's gonna be him. So as soon as he popped up, man, I'm telling you, like all my blood just went to my bottom toe. I was just like, oh snap, like
That's really
it just.
cool.
But I was just really happy for that. I was really stoked for that, and just the fact that he came and spoke to me. Just I love because he saw my work
Good.
and he respected it and stuff. Because everyone always say like, wow, you very organized and stuff like that. And I just try to be very punctual and stuff like that because I be letting everybody know that at the end of the day, it's just all about put up or shut up. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Go hard or go home. And then you as a YouTuber and stuff like that. Again, everybody don't understand like the number of hours, the number of work, lack of sleep that you put up to entertain people like us.
No. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's part of it. You know, I just yesterday I was up from 8 a.m. Uh, till 5 in the morning. So I don't even know how many. And it's why you see I'm so tired
Yeah,
today. Today I have no. Today I edited for maybe 5 minutes my video for tomorrow. I was like, I'll do it later tonight, tomorrow morning. But just because we had something to do yesterday in terms of our storage units. But yeah, and then as soon as it was done, I was like, I got to go back to sleep. I'm like, no, you gotta work. But it's part of the hustle, you know. It's part of the hustle, and it's fun. You know, I'm going to LA next week for 2 weeks, and gonna be a bunch of friends that I'm going to see there. A bunch of friends are going along with me to film for their channels, and some friends are just meeting us there. But you know, a lot of people don't understand. Like, yeah, I'll go out for dinner. Yeah, I'll go here and do this, but I'm there to work. Like that, it's a job. Like it's a real. Like I'm there to work, and then if people are gonna go out late or go out afterwards, I'm like, no, I'm gonna go back to the hotel and I'm gonna edit. That's what I got to do. You know, it's just part of it. It's part of it. And I enjoy it. I edit and then watch old episodes of Survivor. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta watch one or two a day, otherwise I get stressed. But
yeah.
that's my relaxing. You know, I got to relax with about 45 minutes of Survivor a day. I've seen every episode 20 times. I'll watch them all over and over again.
And I'm just so happy that you said that because I was just always used to tell my friends that this is a job. This is not play. Yeah, it may look like I'm having fun, but I'm working. I'm dedicated to this, and we're pretty much a brand. Like we
Yeah,
walk in billboards and stuff like that, and we just allow ourselves to, you know, have a balance.
yeah.
But it
Hey, you're
just,
working two jobs, right? Because you work another job,
yeah,
right? You work
yeah.
another job, and you're working, and then this job, which is, you know, it's you got to do it. You know, I did it for what 3.5 years at least, I guess, when I started, and thankfully, things went well for me, but it was a gamble. It was a
Hmm.
gamble for sure. But I'm glad. Just so
Yeah,
you
you.
just got to keep working, man.
Oh, no doubt, man. And I prefer this than buying lottery tickets, and because I'd rather invest in myself.
Somebody just asked me. I'm not gonna say who. My sister. She's not actually here right now, but she said, "Are you gonna buy? You gonna ticket for the weekend?" And I'm like, "No." She goes, 63 million. I'm like, "Yeah," and but it's also $10 less in your bank account. You know what I mean? Because you're not gonna win. The house always wins. You're not gonna win, and so wait, yes, one person is going to win, but they always ask me at the gas station around the corner when I go. I get my coffee there every morning and their lottery ticket today, and they smile when they say it. Because they're always like, "No, save your money." That's what I say every time. I'm like, "No, save your money." you know?
Oh yeah, and then rich is just your perception. Because I feel like rich is just being able to just be happy doing what you love to do. You
Yeah,
know, when you wake up and till you go to bed, just being at peace with yourself. And I just been enjoying my peace and just enjoying my rich, my own definition. Because I don't put everything in monetary fashion. I put it all into just going back and see what I accomplished and
yeah.
who I made feel good, who I made happy,
That
and
you know
stuff
what,
like
dude?
that.
That's why you're gonna succeed because you have that mindset. I believe that because you can't if you only think about it in terms of if you want to think about money and fame and all that, you're not focusing on what you're doing on the product you're putting out. Like you're just trying to make you just want to be money. You just want money or fame, and it's not the way to go about it. Like I make enough money to do what I do. I wish I made a little bit more so I could have a little bit more of a cushion every time. But that'll happen. But
Yeah.
I got a good reliable car. Somebody yesterday dropped a fucking piece of furniture on it outside. I was
Wow.
thinking they were looking through. We were putting old furniture out, and the neighbors all came out. They're like, "Oh!" And then they dropped it on my car, and I'm like, "Oh, it's okay, it's okay." But what my point was, I got a car. I don't need two. I don't need like even if I made like $1 million this year, I would not buy another car. They would just go in the bank account, save it, and that would be for more trips. I don't need anything. I got a roof over my head. You know, there's nothing money can't buy you. Like, you know, it can buy you safety and security, but not necessarily happiness. And you try to become famous. People that want to become famous on YouTube or all that, it's not. I just want to be. I want people to see my work.
Hmm.
That's what I want people to see my work and love it. You know, I love it when people come up to me and say, "Oh, I recognize you from YouTube." I love that, but it's all love. I don't get a big ego because of it. If I was 20 years old, probably I would, but I'm not 20. So I'm just like, it's all love. It's all good. I'm not famous. I'm just a guy on YouTube, and I just want people to watch my stuff. That I get frustrated very fast if a video like tanks, you know. But you can't, you know. Especially, I didn't get like that at the very beginning. I get like that now. At the beginning, I was like 500 people watched or 200 people watched. That's amazing.
Hmm.
1,000 people, you know, and now it's, you know, if somebody doesn't watch a video, that's I take it to heart, and I'm like, screw all of you. I'm never doing this again. I'm never putting a video up again. 5 minutes later, I'm editing, ready on the next one. you know, I have a little, I
Yeah,
have a little temper tantrum.
yeah. I just think that's everybody because
Yeah,
I just, you just, you put so much work into it, and then you get like 2, 5, 10 views, and you be like, man, I thought this one was gonna pop, but
yeah.
it's just all about just consistency and it was cool. I wish it happened on YouTube, but it happened on TikTok. I had reached my first viral video, my 100K
For
viewers.
real.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, I
wow.
was happy. I was happy. So I just been learning, just to keep going and just don't allow just outsiders, because outsiders like friends or family, because everybody just expect me to be this big overgrown sensation, and I tell everybody like in my family, like, look, I'm broke. I ain't got no money for y'all and stuff. I'm not lying, but I'm doing this for me, and I'm doing this to get generational wealth. I'm not here to try to stun on people, get revenge on my enemies or former bullies or nothing like that. If
Huh.
anything, this is all about just allowing the world to see who I am and stuff. Because we are very fortunate, because if something happened to one of us today, our voices and our faces will be here. The
Yeah,
world would know who we were and the legacy that we left
yeah.
behind.
Our
And
our stuff our stuff definitely will be on the internet forever. Like, well,
yeah,
for sure. Like, oh man, that's the because I mean I spend a lot of time in cemeteries, so I see graves. So
right.
I see forgotten graves and like they say there's that video that's on Instagram. It always appears on my feed like once we like 2 generations from now, you will be forgotten. So you have to do this in your life now because soon the pictures of you will fade. Then they'll be put away. Then they'll fade. Then they'll be thrown away. Then and it's all like, Jesus Christ, how depressing! Come on. But you got to send me that video after this, the TikTok video. That's great. It went viral.
Well,
It's
thank you,
had that
man.
one.
Yeah, thank you, man. I was just really going through it that week, and then I get the notification, and like I said, I didn't even pay attention to it because I'm just always busy planning my next one or my next video and stuff like that. I never really get the chance to watch all my videos, and even people watching my older videos now when I was like terrible and bad camera effects and everything. But I just always tell people like it's a process
Of
and stuff. Like,
course.
and you're not going to have like the big bang and you having all this, because it's not all about having expensive equipment. It's about your audience. It's about what you bring to the table. Even if y'all can talk about the same thing, because I see like a few YouTubers that does the same thing that you do, but they're not Scott on tape, but they're their own person. But I don't knock anybody else's being a content creator, but it's just all about like what makes you you and stuff. Cause I have older people watching me too and stuff, and it's crazy like being at the grocery store and being like in public, and people walk up to me and they're like, "So you Dollar Will from that? You do that show,
That's
don't you?" And I was like,
nice.
and I'm like, "Yeah." Like, how do you know that? They're like, "Well, I watched you all the time, but I had no idea you were so tall." And I was like, "Yeah,"
Why? How
because
tall
I
are
was
you?
on a,
How
I'm,
tall are you?
I'm
Oh
6'5".
shit! Yeah. Yeah, that is tall. Yeah, that is
Yeah,
tall.
yeah. So it just really be catching me off guard because it's just like wow. Because I used to just really be nonchalant, very well. I ain't gonna say that I was a noticeable because I'm 6'5", but I was just always like that type of person where like I would be in the background and stuff. But I was just always very observant and stuff like that. So now it's like when I'm being like noticed and stuff like that, and just people all over the world and stuff, and it's just an amazing thing, like because everybody just be talking about, oh, we need to kill the internet and stuff like that. Like this making me gonna make me rich or make me, put me on a different pedestal. But what I mean by that is it's just I can get through people like in small villages and stuff like in India or Malaysia or Japan,
Right.
Thailand and stuff like that. And we have subscribers like that as well.
Sure. Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
so it's just when people say that, they just not utilizing their platforms. But people like us who use our platform for the right reasons, yes, like I just think that a lot of our videos be better than or similar to like Good Morning America or Headline News and stuff like that. Like people actually wake up and look forward to our content and stuff, and that's a gift to me. That's God given
Yeah.
gift to
I mean,
me.
I see the way some of those news programs stuff when tell the story correctly, but how they manipulate the viewer and stuff into and and it's not definitely not my style. And I like to be at the play. I just like show like wherever location I'm. I just like I'm like nobody else gets this. Like if it's a true crime location, I want to see the house where it happened or
Mhm.
whatever, and I'm going to show it for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, as opposed to a 20-second clip on the news. I want people want to see. If I do a true crime, I'm going like the where 2, 3 locations where it happened. Then the grave, and it gets like 5,000, 10,000 views. I'm like, and then I watch somebody did a podcast of it while she's doing her makeup or he, and they tell the same story and it gets 1 million views. I'm like, I want to punch the screen. I'm like, what? But you weren't even there. You didn't experience it. You didn't.
Exactly.
You didn't know what it's like to be there. But that does drive me mad. That drives me a little angry, crazy sometimes.
Oh yeah, just when you're passionate about something, it does that, and I just been just really getting back to not allowing just the people to control my content and stuff like that. Because I feel like if
Yeah.
you didn't like my stuff in the beginning, you wouldn't still be
Right.
here.
Well, you can
So,
always do more. You can always do more or expand, but you nailed it. You got to do what you want to do. I mean, it's not, if you're working for yourself, which you are when you're doing this,
yeah,
you got to do what is your passion, what fuels you, what you want to see. And you can't, like, you get 1 million suggestions from people, but if you start doing that, you're not going to be as passionate about it, you know?
no, it would be more like you conforming and stuff,
Right.
and I
Exactly.
and I like to keep the integrity of my platform because we got enough toxic platforms and I just all about positivity. I'm all about love. I'm all about just showcasing our best and our brightest and stuff.
Right.
And I have so many people from my hometown. Um, they just don't really get it and stuff like that. So they want to come on the show. So I kind of like either have a phone conversation with them or we meet somewhere and I let them know like this is my legacy. So don't play with my legacy.
But you,
When you come on my show
so
and
are
stuff.
you, if you're getting well known in Saginaw, are you making sure to, always put the location key in your videos and stuff.
Yeah,
Saginaw. Yeah,
yeah.
that's good. That's good because then people in your town will get to know, and then that's you just build out from there.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty much like everybody knows me now, even at work and stuff. It's so funny because like my bosses and stuff, my managers and stuff, even people like, cause I work at a hospital, so it's just be funny because like doctors, nurses, and executives, they all subscribe to my
Good.
channel and stuff. So
That's good. They do.
thanks, and it was just funny because a lot of them, they were like, "Man, you talk a lot, man," because
Hmm.
I thought you was just very quiet and stuff. I'm like, no, I'm just quiet around everybody here, but when I go home, yeah, I'm very talkative and stuff, but it's just a lot was just very intrigued just by just certain things that I spoke about with lynchings and stuff like that. So it's just when I be doing these stories and stuff on lynching, everybody just kind of be like, man, like I had no idea that this happened to that individual, or just we really thought that y'all just had a big chip on your shoulder, but we never knew why y'all was so angry. And I just think that, it just be misinformed, and I just look back and just think like I would say the American education system, yes, we was all like indoctrinated and stuff like
Yeah.
that. We weren't really given the full history of things because I had to really start to dig for myself because a lot of things I wasn't taught in school, so I had to learn for myself. And me and my cousin, we really been doing our family history and stuff like that. So because our elders didn't really tell us certain
Right.
things, so we had to really do our own independent research. It's just to find out just how this country really was and stuff like that. And it wasn't whether it was taught in school or just in Hollywood and certain movies and stuff like that. So it just really puts you in a different perspective of people because I love everybody. I love people. It's not about color to me. It's about your attitude. You know what I'm saying? Because it's ignorance in everybody. You know what I'm saying? And family to me is just people who love me, people who support me, people who wants me to win and this and that. And just like when we have first met and stuff, I know you was like, who is this kid? Who is this guy? Like he wants me to come on this show. Like, wow, he's from Michigan. Wow, so it's just the beauty of networking, man. Cause you just never know like who you just helping, who you impacting, who you
Sure.
inspiring, you
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
we need more
I
of that.
mean, people get their entertainment more from YouTube and social media than they do anywhere else nowadays, right? I mean, way more.
Oh, absolutely,
You
man.
know,
And
I
just
can't believe it's like you weren't taught certain things in school. You had to learn yourself. I'm
oh yeah,
talking about Black history,
yeah.
and then nowadays there's we've come back to a point where people don't want Black history taught in school after it was starting to be taught. It's like what like why does that scare you so much? Why does that scare you? It's so fucking crazy to me. Stuff like that makes no like I forget I'm gonna butcher the quote, but it was something like the fact you think systemic racism doesn't exist is exactly the reason systemic racism should be taught about in school. And I was like, yes, it's so true because people don't like. You see so much hate and stuff on the internet now. It's very frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. I can't believe you can't get taught. But I mean, on a completely different level, for when it comes to my knowledge of the states
Hmm.
and all that, we don't learn American history. In maybe kids do now, but in the 80s and 90s, we did not learn American history in our public schools and high schools. So I didn't know anything about I still don't. Civil War and all that. I know very little. World War One, World War Two, as up for Canada's involvement in it. I know, but we don't learn any American history, and it's kind of like, well, why would we? You guys. It's not like America's learning Canadian history.
Oh yeah, and
So I
it's
didn't know a lot of I had to I had to learn it myself, and then especially when it came to Black history, we didn't learn that in school.
yeah, and the crazy part that a lot of people didn't know that there were black soldiers, black generals in the Confederate Army,
Hmm.
and I have provided like a whole lot of documentation. and everybody was just like, "Oh, that's Photoshop, that's
Oh,
falsified,
for
and this
fuck's
and that."
sakes.
And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "This is accurate documentation," but I just be trying my best to just bring a whole lot of dynamics. But yeah, we um just make it like it's a diaspora, but it's really should be a blessing because I think that all of us had evolved into being better and stuff like that because that really plagued on everybody from both sides, the segregated and the integrated, you know what I'm saying? It was just really bad on both sides because the economy, well, it really helped the economy um, to get to where it's at, and it really opened doors for all of us to be in tune. But it's just a lot of um, people focus on the pain more, which is the bad
Right.
part. Where we should use that to grow and stuff. Because I always um, take the time out to allow the past to make me a better person because my ancestors went through a lot and I don't have to go through a lot. So I just find a little humility to that standpoint. But we just have to just really just get back to because they're just trying to wipe it out. They're trying to make it seem like oh it certain things didn't exist and stuff like that. So I even teach my nieces and nephew about the real history and stuff because they just really be trying to wipe everything out
Yeah.
and really just try to rewrite whatever uh, folktale that they want to. And I just think that that's what gonna really be way worse because it's like okay, you already trying to ignore what happened, and then you trying to put your own twist on it or your own remix on it, then
Yeah.
it's really gonna be bad.
Yeah.
But I
People try to put their own spin on it, of course. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I
but
know.
I think that things are um just getting better. It's just far as like um the opportunities that we having a whole lot of entrepreneurs. We're having a whole lot of people who are tech shabby and stuff like that, and it's just allowing themselves to become their own boss now. It's just the year of the hustle now, and the year of truth, and everybody who did bad things to get to the top, they're being exposed and being handled and stuff like that because
Yeah.
it's done in the dark eventually comes to the light. So that's why I just moving at my pace and doing things my way.
Good.
And if I'm not happy with it, then I don't partake in that. There's a lot of interviews that I said no to, and just because of the fact like I just didn't want to go that route, and I didn't want to lose my integrity over it. Because at the end of the day, it's just all about helping people, and because I deal with the mental health thing, and I just really want to just educate people on just you can be in a room with a huge crowd of people and still be by yourself. You still feel alone and still feel broken and still feel defeated and stuff. And I've been there. And I never forget that. And I just make sure that to always keep that main objective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just that objective when you first started your channel and stuff like that. Did you have one?
An objective?
Yeah, just that main thing that you kept.
Mm, all I knew, 7 years ago when I started, it honestly feels like twice that. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Like it feels like a long, long time ago. It feels like I've been doing this a long time. Never in a cocky way or an arrogant way
Yeah.
did I think I would succeed, but I didn't start it thinking I was going to not do it forever or as my career. I went into it with a clear goal of this is what I do now. This
Yeah.
platform, I find there's finally a platform that is going to allow me to do the stuff that I've always been doing or always want to do. So that was really my. I just I was very, I was very weirdly calm and chill about it, as I was doing it. It's 200 subscribers, more views, slows down. I was always just kind of like, I'm just this is what I do. Like what the other jobs that I was doing, I don't. That's not a career. That's not what I do. I do that to make money to fuel the channel,
Hmm.
and so I was always so you know, I knew that I had an interesting look, or not look. I don't mean physical look. I definitely have. I definitely have. I meant I knew that I had a secret, kind of a secret weapon, which was I know pop culture. I've loved it my whole life. People always say to me, "You're full of useless facts, like about pop." I'm like, "Is it really useless? Because you just asked me a question and I had the answer. I just told
Right.
you I just told you like Rihanna's birth town. You asked me what it was, and I told you. Is it really useless? But you know what I mean, stuff like that. But so I always knew I had that kind of going for me in terms of that was pretty much it. I was like, okay, I know pop culture. Like, there's nobody that's gonna take like that has a love of like John Travolta, Eminem, LL Cool J, the Star Wars movies, the Grease movie. You know what I mean? Like so many different things. So I was like, I'm gonna do that. And then I was like, oh wait, I grew up playing in a cemetery. That was my playground. I used to love gravestones. Why don't I go to a grave today and do that? And then I was like, oh, people watch that. Well, I like graves, and I always like true crime, so it's just kind of expanded. You know what I mean? And I like the one I put up yesterday, Footloose. I love old movies and filming locations, and I love being an idiot sometimes. So I'm dancing on screen. I don't give a shit. People watch and they make fun of me. I'm like, yeah, that's me. I was dancing in the video and it looks pretty bad to me. I'm like, well, it's not a breakdance song. I grew up breakdancing. When I do the filming locations for breaking, wait till that drops. I'm gonna have some moves because nobody could backspin like me.
Hey, I
I
can't
was
wait
never
for
I
that.
was I wasn't great with the pop and lock, but any of like the backspin and all that stuff, those are my moves, man.
Hey, that's what's up, man.
Oh, there's Randy on there. There's Randy. He helped me film Footloose. He filmed it with me, not just helped me.
Oh,
Shout
no
out
doubt.
Randy.
Shout out Randy. Shout out Randy. Yeah, I have. I always have a special request, man. Like whenever you can, or whatever you in that area, I think you should do Michael Donald.
Michael
He was,
Donald's.
yeah, he was killed in Mobile, Alabama, back in 1981. So if you ever like in that
Dude,
area,
I was just there a month ago.
wow.
I literally I was about 40 minutes from downtown Mobile, and I love, like, people don't understand how much I love Alabama, Mississippi, and all that. Georgia I love beyond, but I love Alabama, Mississippi, and all like those deep south states. And it killed me not to go into Mobile. I was like, I'm driving by, I love it there. I gotta look at you. Let me put it in my phone here. Was it Michael Donald's?
Yeah,
Michael. Is it going to be a pretty horrific story?
yeah, pretty much. But it should be good. As far as
Oh my
like,
god!
yeah, yeah,
Oh my god! Okay, I will definitely next time I'm down there. I'll be down in Alabama, but I won't be. I probably won't make it to Mobile this summer. I don't think so, but I always will make it back there. You know what I mean?
hmm
That's the one good thing. But his, there's what a horrific story.
yeah, yeah. A lot of people don't know about that, but I just, but it's a beautiful ending, even though it
Okay,
starts off tragic. See, his mom sued the people that did that to him, and she was rewarded their entire headquarters and won a huge settlement, like a five over like $5 million in a settlement.
5 million.
Yes, so she was by herself and did that.
Look at this story. I mean, the like. he's 18 years old. Like he's a kid.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at other pictures of him, and like he's like got to be maybe 12, maybe 10. I don't know. Like most innocent face. I'm gonna read this story. This stuff like that is just.
Yeah.
I'll look into
I just,
it for sure.
yeah, man. It's just, it's just people like you, are needed, man. You like a superhero, man.
No,
Like those super, for
no,
real, for real,
no, no, no,
for
no,
real.
no.
Everybody, all heroes don't wear capes, man. So,
No, I just like to, I just really like to tell stories and make sure people aren't forgotten. And when it comes to a story like that, it's horrific and it's going to be hard to read about. But I've already looked it up. He's got a grave. I can tell. I can find the location where it happened, the courthouse. So there, I can do I'll do a video on that. And these are stories that people shouldn't forget. This is something that all people should
hmm
remember, should know about. And oh my God, wow, yeah, I was in I forget the name of the town. It's South Carolina. I was there about 3 weeks ago. I was there doing filming locations for a movie.
hmm
I was in the town square. Um, we're sleeping with the enemy. It doesn't. Nobody else is gonna do it. So, I'm afraid to blow up. Oh no! Now somebody's gonna run and do it. So I was doing the location for the movie "Sleeping with the Enemy," Julia Roberts, and I was walking around the town square, getting all the shots. And then I noticed this plaque, huge, outside the courthouse. So I
hmm
wander over, and it was a site of a lynching, and that was the plaque was for. And I was like, totally taken out of the video that I was doing because I'm doing like a fun video about Julia Roberts, arriving in a small town, blah blah blah. And then there's this plaque, and it's I'll send you the other stuff about it later. It's a horrific story.
Okay.
I was just like thinking all that whole story is told on a plaque, but there's so much more to that story. And I mean, it's a touristy little town, I guess, for the picturesque town square. So many people walk by that plaque and probably don't even read it, or read it and be like, "Oh, wow, that happened here," and keep going. And that's not it for me. I was just like, I couldn't think of anything else the rest of the day.
Oh yeah, send me that. I would love to just just check it out. Cause I think I did a video on that with it was in South Carolina, so we're probably talking about the same person. But just
I can tell you who it was. I have it written down. I
okay.
forget. I think I have it here. Uh, I don't know. Uh, it was wait a second. I remember the name of the town. It was uh, Abbeville.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
The
It was
Anthony Crawford.
yeah, yeah. I did a
You did a
yeah,
video on him?
yeah, yeah. One of his descendants wrote me and thanked me on that video
Right.
too.
He was the guy that he wanted to pay. He wanted to pay less for cotton. He was trying to barter with a white
Yeah,
man. Is that what it
yeah.
was, or is it the opposite? The white man
What
wanted.
it, well, he because he was trying to cheat Anthony Crawford um out of because I guess because he went up to him was trying to sell him cotton and he was going to give him less and he refused and he was just like, look, I need more than that or something, and they locked him up for that, and then they killed him
Stormed the
from the
jailhouse, didn't they, or
yeah
something? Or
yeah they stormed the jailhouse, the lynch mob, and he had told what his last words was, make sure my family get my checkbook, or yeah, yeah, I remember that.
brutal.
Man,
Yeah.
that's why I do what I do, man. I feel like it's a responsibility that I have, because I had this one dream. It was just crazy because I don't know who it was, but somebody was like, "Thank you for telling what happened to me," and
Wow.
they just had went away. I don't know if it was a male or female, but it was just a voice, and it just really, like I said, it just changes my whole perspective on things, bro. Like, 'cause you just never know, like, who
Who's
needs that.
who? Yeah, and that's interesting. You heard from the Crawford, the descendants of Anthony Crawford. Wow.
Yeah, it really shocked me because I was like, oh, well, because I wanted to just really talk about it because to me, I feel like anybody who dies a man needs to be celebrated
Right.
because there's just so many cowards, man, out here, bro, to the point of like they just will just bow down, and he wasn't no bow down person, like, and that's just kind of man I am, you
Good.
know, and just trying to make sure that I just not only do my work, but I do God's work by just bringing the awareness to everybody, just that we need each other and that we need to take care of each other,
For sure.
especially the ones who's just doing good, man, and you know, people like us, man, and I wish you nothing but the best, bro. Like, just,
Thanks, man.
and I can't wait till we meet, man. It's gonna be a blast. Like,
Well, man, if you can, I can tell you, if you can get, we'll try to pick a day. If you can get, do you drive? You,
yeah,
you, you drive? Um, because if you can get I mean long distance, I mean to Detroit, because I'm gonna try to get there. I'm doing a video with somebody pretty cool, somebody very interesting. So I got to set it up with them. Anytime this summer, they're available. They told me, and so I got to get out to Detroit. It's just when I think about going up past, well, even past Flint, I'm just like, all right, God, like it's so far up. You know what I mean? It's so far. You know, it's just so. But and there's got to be a few because there's a couple of things up there I've wanted to do. But I mean, there's so many places. Like there's places in northern Wisconsin and things like that. I'm just like, oh, it's so far. But you know, I drive so far anyways. But yeah, we can try to set something up to meet up. But yeah, definitely let's be in contact again after. I'll let you know. You'll know what video when I put it up. You'll know what I'm talking about. The one I want you to see it. I think you'll like. I put 2 years of work into it, and now it looks like I'm gonna go back and do more. Just because, first of all, it's a beautiful area of the country. It's gonna be 110 degrees in Mississippi when I go in July, but it's worth it. It's a beautiful place and terrible story.
that's what's up, man. I can't wait to check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, um, I think that we covered a lot, man,
yeah, for sure.
and I'm gonna let you get back to, you know, being Scott on tape, man, and I'm gonna do my stuff over here. But
It's a holiday here today.
oh, really? What holiday
It,
is it?
it's Victoria Day here in Canada. So
Oh,
it's
I don't even heard.
it,
I never heard of it.
right. So it's you guys have Memorial Day, which is like for veterans, and if it's
Yeah.
the kickoff to summer. This is our. It's not Memorial. It's not equivalent to Memorial Day, but it's equivalent in the fact that it's the kickoff to summer. It's the penultimate Monday every month. The second Monday before the end of May celebrates Queen Victoria's birthday. She was
Okay.
the queen. She was a queen in the late 1800s, and she's known as the mother of Confederation. Like when Canada came into being one, four provinces, 1867.
Hmm.
Blah blah blah. So we celebrate her birthday, which is not even. It's actually May 24th is her birthday, but we celebrate it on the. So today's a holiday. So I'm gonna go out with a friend for a little bit. We're gonna grab some coffee. That's what we planned. Then I got to come home because this person right here does not like fireworks, and they're going to be on, and he's going to be freaking out. He gets freaked out by the fireworks. He just says hello. All right, man. Let's be in touch, and I'll send you that stuff for sure.
Okay, same
Oh
here,
no, I don't
bro.
have to now. You know more than I do about Anthony Crawford. Send me your
Yeah,
TikTok.
I got you, bro.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, man.
Talk to you
You
soon.
too.
Bye, Will.
Peace.
Bye.